thoughts now, David? There can't be anything as exciting as this in the sporting world. Hi guys, welcome to the Tour de France road trip. It's Wednesday evening. I'm going to be heading off soon to pick up a friend and load up, ready to drive to the Channel Tunnel over in Kent in England, and then we'll be driving down through the night to the south of France, or at least to the Alps, which is about an 8-hour drive. So stick around, see how the trip goes down to the Alps. So the car is all packed and we are ready to go. Driving, we are now about still 200 miles to go, and we've just stopped for breakfast. It's 10 to 8 in the morning, so we've been driving for about 4 hours. We're having coffee, croissant and petit pain au chocolat. So after a probably 10 or 12 hour drive, including all stops, we're eventually here. This is Samoën, and this is where we're staying. Let's go and have a look. We're just outside Culoz. We're going to cycle in like thousands of other people seem to be doing, and then go up the mountain. So let's have a look, see how it goes. Oh, this is the actual look. Obviously do. Oh, wow.
Fab, il m'a dit, oh, il est bien mauvais. Hein. Alors on va se faire un petit truc avec Eurosport.
Right, so we're here on the Grand Colombier. We're about 5k from the top, and as you can hear and see, the atmosphere started to build up a bit. So I think the guys are coming past in still another couple of hours before the tour comes through. The caravan will be coming through in about half an hour, I think.
Salut Fab, il m'a dit, oh, il est bien mauvais. Hein.
maillot jaune.
Come on! Go, Tracer! Go, go, go! Hey! Go, go, go! Come on! Go, Jonas! Go, Jonas! Hey, allez, allez, Jasper! Hello, Walt! Go, Yatesy! Go, Seb! Go, Seb! Tuck! It's going, God, yeah, it's just like ridiculous. So today's the third day we've been watching the tour, and unfortunately it didn't really go according to plan because this stage we weren't allowed to ride up because the road's really narrow, as you'll see in a minute. So we had to leave our bikes at the bottom and walk up in our cycling shoes, which wasn't great. But we found a good spot, the atmosphere's building, and this is what it's looking like at the moment. And that's a really steep part of the climb. It's about 10% on the last climb of the 15th stage of the Tour 2023. Here again, and we just entered Leger at about 1100 meters, taken us about 50 minutes from Samoen, and the CEO's going strong. Okay, so we are on our way back home to England. We've just started the motorway journey. It's going to take a few hours. So here are some sort of top tips we've learned from visiting the Tour. The first one is, if you get the chance to do it because it's fantastic. It was really, really enjoyable. A little, logistical problems here and there, but generally on the whole, it was well worth going on the ride or for the trip. So make sure you can, if you are thinking about doing it, do it. So next thing is, if you want to see multiple stages, which we did, we saw 3, you do need to do a bit of driving. There's not much chance of you actually getting away with not doing any driving. I think the furthest we had to drive was something like 70 miles from one stage to the end of another stage. So be prepared to do a bit of driving. Next thing is really be aware of road closures. We were trying to get through to go to the end of a stage on Sunday, the last stage we were watching, and it was really awkward to get through the road closures. We thought, because the riders were coming through at about 1 o'clock, we thought we'd have plenty of time at about 10:30 to get through, but the roads were already closed, and so we had to wait there until all the riders had gone through, which is okay because we got to see the riders in one area, but we had to wait till about 2 o'clock when the roads were open again before we could go to where we were intending to go in the first place. Another thing to remember is not all stages are the same, in that when you go to view them they can be a bit different. For example, we saw 2 stages, 2 mountaintop finishes, and people were riding up, walking up well into, you know, a couple of hours before the riders came through, even sort of just before the caravan came through, which is normally a couple of hours before the riders do, or an hour or so before the riders do, and they were letting people ride up. The third race we went to, or stage we went to, we weren't allowed to cycle up. We got there again about 2 or 3 hours before the riders were due to come, but because the road was narrow, the police weren't allowing anyone to ride their bikes up because they were worried about having too many bikes at the side of the road, narrowing the road for the riders, which is fair enough, but we didn't know about that until we actually got there. So that was a bit of a pain because we had to leave our bikes at the bottom of the climb and walk up in cleats up to the top, or about 1 kilometre up into the climb, so we didn't go anywhere near as high, you know, to the top of the climb as we would have liked. So it might be worth bearing that in mind, or trying to find out some more information about exactly when the roads are closed, or whether you're allowed full access and when that might be. Another thing we learned was that we didn't really need to worry about parking near the event, because wherever we went, whichever stage it was, there was always somewhere to park. And on the way, you know, if you're not sure where to go, you just need to follow the huge amount of people that are either cycling, walking, or cars going in that direction. But parking generally was pretty easy. The French seem quite relaxed when it comes to parking on verges and things like that on the side of the road when the tour's on. We never had to, you know, really search for a place. We often found sort of little gravel parking places by the sides of the roads which we could park in, never too far away, you know, certainly easy cycling distance within or from the stage. So yeah, parking was pretty good. And lastly, one little thing to remember is when you're leaving the stage after you've seen it, it could take quite a long time to either come down the mountain. I mean, it took us what would have taken half an hour, it took at least an hour to come down just to the bottom of the mountain, with the amount of people and bikes and, you know, cars that were coming down these descents. Another thing is, when you are down the bottom, obviously precedence is given to anything to do with the tour, whether it was cyclists or their team cars or team buses and all those sorts of things. So we did have to wait a few times to be able to like exit an area, and there was like road closures. We were going down one road and it was closed while all the team buses went through, which took about 15 minutes of waiting for that. So be prepared to, you know, have an hour or two when maybe you're just sort of sat in the car waiting to leave and go back home. Anyway, so I hope you found the video useful. I hope it gave you a taste of the tour and how exciting it is, and it is really, really well worth going to see it. So if you did like it, please make sure you click that like button and subscribe so you can see some more videos like this in the future. Until then, see you soon.